Welcome back, folks, to World of Warships Legends. I'm Soopa-Dave, and today's build and play guide here on how to be more effective with the ship is the Campbellton. This will work for all versions of it. You play it similar, and for a commander, we're going to talk about it first. This is just, in fact, Reginald Tirewit. Just has a skin on it, guys. So honestly, at tier 2, if you get this ship very early on, whatever commander you have that is a destroyer captain, if you don't have Tirewit, will work. Otherwise, John Jellicoe will work. The skills being contact is imminent. Chris Cross, I would actually prefer Look at Me Now on this build, back in stock and reaching out XXL. So um, we are actually using Tirewit though, so I will show that build. We're using Eric Bay, Jersey Swirsky with Contact is Imminent, Look at Me Now, Perceptive. This is a big one. Any chance you got that has that little perk that says shows the destruction of the closest enemy, Perceptive and Twisted Track, both have it. You really want that, especially when you're new to destroyers. You can tell where the closest person is to you. And the other skills we're using is Smoke on the Water and Unstoppable. Now, Smogathon with the 2 extra generators would be handy on this ship, but like I said, it's tier 2. I'm not building into that. And also, I use this commander for all my British destroyers. So for our modifications, we are using Propulsion Mod 1. Either one of these are great and will work fine for you. It just depends on what you're up to. So we have 2 smoke generators or longer time. One thing I will say though, and we get into the boost as well, as we start to look at the stats here, one thing I want to say is these guns are pretty wildly inaccurate. Now, at tier 2, a lot of guns are going to be at inaccurate. However, my first match in this thing, I thought I could out gunboat some people just because of my skill level of being a little bit higher. And I can assure you, you know, use your guns when you need to on this ship, but this is not a pure gunboat running around just trying to kill everything. Use them to kill destroyers when you get the chance, when you have an opportunity to win the battle. But these are wildly inaccurate. In fact, after my first game, after shooting a destroyer where I just got murdered and I only got like 2 hits on the destroyer, my accuracy was 20%, and I actually shot a fair amount of shells at that destroyer and just got absolutely obliterated. So you want to make sure in this ship, because a lot of times you're going to be bottom tier as well, you're going to be up against tier 3s, that you have help or you have an advantage when you are coming across other destroyers. You only have 8,900 health. The one bonus is these guns are on the front of the boat. However, the way they are posted on this boat, as you can see here, we'll take all this off so you can see. You have one up front, and it is 360 degrees, which is nice. You will see that play in effect. But these 2 other guns, you know, they're on each side of the ship, so you never have more than 2 guns on target, and sometimes you only have 1 gun that can reach on target. So just remember that, folks, when you're using that. So we'll go back here. We'll go back to the stats here. Torpedoes, however, is where this thing shines. You have 6 of them. They reload in about a minute. Now, these, again, are on each side. So when you're playing this, you want to use, if you can, use both sides. But they do have a 7.5 kilometer range, which is pretty good. Really good, actually, for tier 2. So use that to your advantage. And your maneuverability for the tier, it's actually pretty good. It's not, you know, it's not definitely not slow. Decent turning circle, and your rudder is solid. Your concealment, it has good concealment for a tier 2 destroyer. Not the best, but it's pretty darn good overall. So you can see my stats. Do not let that main accuracy fool you. I had a match where I shot a fair amount of battleships, and they're not hard to shoot, and I still had some issues hitting them. The first match thought I was going to win a gunfight with another destroyer and absolutely got wrecked. These guns are not what I was hoping for on this ship. But the torpedoes are good. And once I made that adjustment in my third match, it took a little bit to realize, hey, definitely need to use the torpedoes a little bit more. My second match was like all destroyers. I think there was 6 destroyers per team, which was really chaotic, so it was really hard to have them be productive. But anyway, guys, we'll take a look at the armor on this thing. It doesn't have any. You want to be careful when you get hit in this thing. It's like any destroyer. You don't want to take unnecessary hits in it. It. However, it's not the world's largest ship, so you could use that to your advantage. And sometimes if you're good at dodging and weaving, people will quit shooting at you. But like I said, not a lot of armor here, so be careful with it. As we go ahead and start this match and check who we're up against, I do want to say it is disclaimer time. This is a beginner's guide to help out people just learning this ship or learning the game in general. This is not for professional gamers that know everything there is to know about everything. There is also multiple ways to build and play ships, so opinions will vary. I am just a above average player. I don't claim to be the best player in the world. I just am a pretty darn good player. So I do make mistakes. You're going to see some in this match. And also, you didn't come to this video to see how to pronounce names, as I am very terrible at slaughtering other beautiful languages. It's almost an art form. So keep that in mind when you're watching this, guys. With that out of the way, we are the bottom tier here. Obviously, you can see battleships, so that's always means your bottom tier, which is okay because battleships are pretty easy to kill in this thing. That being said, your primary objective is cap control and getting rid of other destroyers. Now, it can be a struggle with your guns, but you can do it with your torpedoes in this ship. And like I said, if you see a destroyer and you have the opportunity to get rid of it, 100% do. Just be careful with what you're doing. You can see I'm located, so I'm assuming the other destroyer has it, so he kind of knows where I am, so I'm being very cautious here. And also you can see I am turning, making sure I'm spotting, so it looks like Svetlin's trying to go behind the island, so I want to turn anyway to get my second set of torpedoes off. You can fire these single or out in a spread like I'm doing. In the very beginning, I'm sending out a spread. I'm trying to hit this battleship and cruiser. So I'm not sure the turns that they're going to be making early on in the match till I judge them a little bit. So you can see I'm just trying to do my best to spot. Be careful that I don't put myself in a bad position. And you can see we, in fact, get rid of the destroyer. So that's why you always want to throw your torpedoes out, particularly at low levels. That will help you out quite a bit. Now, Svetlin's trying to get unspotted, so we don't have a cap over here to control at the moment, right? So the destroyer's gone. So what I'm going to do is make sure I am spotting and helping my team here. So with the destroyer gone, I can be a little bit more aggressive and push up. As you know, you don't want to just sit at 7.5 and send out your torpedoes. And we are going to be checking both sides here. And you can see on the top, I can see that the closest ship to me, that shaded half circle up there, is actually the cruiser. So you can see me backing up a little bit because that cruiser is probably going to spot me if I get too close here. So I am trying to be a little bit careful. As you can see, there he is. He is, pretty close. If I had not turned out, probably would have got spotted there. Now, one thing I will say in these early tiers, you're going to see we're going to get one hit. You're going to want to, I don't always recommend using the white predictive torpedo line all the time. But at low levels, I definitely would, because a lot of people drive in straight lines. And you're going to see this a little bit later. And once I start to realize, oh yeah, that's right, tier 2, a lot of people just drive in a straight line, as we go ahead and send another set off. We're trying to be careful because my located perk did switch over for a second to my left side, so I know there was a destroyer crossing over, as you can see right there. Even though I'm 4.7 from the other one, you can see there is a destroyer behind that island to my left. And we are going to go ahead and start to make sure we have everything spotted that we can. You know, we want to get as many of these battleships spotted for our friendlies, and we got to be careful of that destroyer. Now, had I been, you know, thinking, I probably would have pinged the map and let people know that the destroyer was there. But it's hard to know which way that destroyer is going to go. Is he going to chase me or come after? You can see very quickly, you realize he's going for the center cap. And this is about the time I realized that. With that, you're going to see I'm going to make a play for the cap. Because winning the game, you can kill all the ships you want. But if there's one guy and he gets your you know, on these capture these bases, if you could have a bunch of people alive. That doesn't mean you win the match or doing a lot of damage. It's about these bases. So, like I said, spotting in, you know, right now, and then starting to do the base capture is huge to me. Because again, your capture points as a destroyer are probably the biggest thing. Defending, getting them. You can see Wyoming is sailing away. And bringing or going into the cap is going to make him turn around. That'll make a lot of people come back to the base and defend them. And what that does is it allows you to torpedo people that are being overly aggressive. Now, credit to this Wyoming player. He is pretty good. As you can see, the destroyer has made it over there. And instead of going for the base, which I thought he was actually going to do, which at tier 2 and tier 3 is pretty hard to predict sometimes people's play, he's going to go chase battleships. So we'll let him do that while we are working on capturing the base. Now, this Wyoming does a really good job of not just letting me cap this base. And we're going to have to be smart. So we're going to get our other set of torpedoes that are on the right side. We're going to get them out, but we're going to be careful. And obviously he's pushing in, so I'm trying to wait till I get the right moment here. And you're going to see I get close to the island. Now, he is going to detect me here, and I want you to see this here. Instead of just shooting my guns and acting crazy, I just pop a smoke, because at this angle, he's probably going to think I'm sitting right here in the smoke, and he's probably going to charge his smoke. And what we're going to do ourselves here is we're just going to go back around the island. We don't want to leave the cap, because if we do, we lose all that progress we had. And you can see our teammate, our other destroyer teammate down there at our cap is doing a good job sticking near there to make sure that we don't lose to that. So defending your cap and, you know, going for an enemy's cap is the most important thing in these destroyers, because a lot of you guys watching this video are going to be relatively new to the game, especially with the Campeltown being that first bureau that you do get done. So you see I've switched to the 1x1 method. This is, if you guys are new to the game, this is a way, as I figure he's charging into the smoke, so I gotta be careful, and I was correct. But the UK destroyers have a really cool ability to shoot right 1x1 torpedoes right where you want them, and it's a very useful thing. As you're going to see, we're going to throw some out where I think he's going to be, but this Wyoming has done a pretty good job of not just sailing broadside. Seems to be a decent player. You know, he's worried about defending his base. He's not sailing in straight lines. He was trying to get rid of me there by charging into the cap, and right as we go behind the island here, we are going to shoot our guns, try to get a fire. So you're not, with these 103s, these are tiny guns, you are not going to be doing a significant amount of damage. A lot of times you're looking to set fires. Against destroyers, yes, you can 100%, do some damage to a destroyer, but even at that, it's very lackluster. So you're going to see the 360-degree front turret is going to come into play here. I'm trying to make myself not easy to hit because I noticed that he is worried about our teammates and not me right now. So you can see he has taken a shot at me. We go to try to dodge it. At this range, a destroyer can be pretty hard to hit in a battleship. And one thing that now that we've got going on is he is driving now in a straight line to me. And that's important because I'm going to start placing torpedoes that way because he is in fact driving now in a straight line. So we're going to put them all on one area. And we're going to worry about being annoying and trying to get a fire on this guy. You see these shells don't do a lot of damage. They shatter against they shatter or bounce against pretty much everything. So if you can, aim for superstructure, but you can see even at 7 kilometers, 8 kilometers, we're missing a bunch of shells. These things are pretty wildly inaccurate, but we're going to go ahead and my prediction was right. He sailed right where I thought he was, but he's going to get lucky and not hit any of them shells. But now that I know he's driving pretty much in a straight line, like I said, we made that adjustment to, throwing torps on the white line. And here in a few seconds, we're going to be reloaded and we're going to work on doing that again. Now, because he hasn't been able to hit me yet, it looks like he's pretty much given up on me. You see, there's the white line torpedoes that we get a dev strike on. So you make adjustments to the players. If you see a battleship that's dodging and weaving, try to predict where they're gonna be to throw down your torps. If they stop like that guy did, you throw them on the line because a lot of times you will do a ton of damage that way, especially with this ship where you can throw them out one by one and you can put all the torpedoes in one place. So one thing to note here is you can see I'm driving forward is that when you're straight forward, you only have one gun. It's not 3. So thinking you have 3 guns in this is a little bit of disappointment. So this Agicart is going to probably run to the edge of the map in a straight line, so we are in fact going to throw more torpedoes out right on the white line. Like I said, at low tiers, very good option. We haven't really seen him much. Doesn't look like he's dodging very well as our Wyoming's going down. But you can see we pretty much at this point have the game obviously won. So you can see I'm not just going right off and shooting my guns right now. And the reason is if I shoot my guns, I let them know I'm here. And obviously now he's located, but for a long time, he probably wasn't even aware that I'm here. As you're going to see again, and we get 2 more hits. And now that we've hit him with the torpedoes and he's turned in away from our other ones, we are in fact going to just go ahead and try to light up. You see I'm aiming for the top of the ship. I'm aiming for the back superstructure, but there's not a whole lot of superstructure at tier 3 on tier 3 battleships. But you can see pretty much everything that's hitting the Agicart is shattering anyway. Like I said, be careful with these shells. A lot of times if you're just going for damage on a battleship and you have the broadside, AP is going to be better. But you want to try to sight fires if you can, especially if you hit a torpedo or something. But you see top of the leaderboard, we get a high caliber. Really helped our team. Kind of a fun ship to play once they made the adjustments on it. Anyway, hopefully you guys have an amazing day, and we'll see you next time, folks. Have a good one.